A silent revolution is unfolding right now, not in the form of political protests or global conflicts, but inside factories, offices, warehouses, and even grocery stores. It's the automation wave, powerful, invisible, and accelerating much faster than most people realize. While the world focuses on inflation, recessions, or geopolitical tensions, a deeper economic shift is reshaping the very nature of human work. This isn't just about robots replacing manual labor anymore. The new thread is cognitive automation, AI systems that can think, calculate, analyze, recommend, and even make decisions faster than the human brain ever could. For decades, people believed white-collar jobs were safe. Many assumed only repetitive, low-skill work would be automated. But the last few years have shattered those assumptions. AI now edits videos, writes legal briefs, diagnoses diseases, drafts business strategies, manages logistics, and even performs financial analysis with near-perfect efficiency. Entire departments, HR, accounting, customer service, marketing, are being quietly downsized because a single algorithm can do the work of 20 people without breaks, salaries, or human error. Meanwhile, robotic systems are rapidly transforming physical industries. Warehouses now run with minimal staff, truck fleets are testing self-driving logistics, and restaurants are piloting fully automated kitchens that require zero cooks, zero cashiers, and almost zero staff. Every automation upgrade saves companies money, and once a cheaper, faster alternative exists, businesses have no incentive to keep humans around. The most alarming part? This shift is not slowing down. It compounds. Every year, AI becomes smarter, cheaper, and more widely accessible, making millions more jobs vulnerable. The workplace of the near future won't be defined by layoffs. It will be defined by mass displacement. And the world is nowhere near prepared for what happens next. For years, experts predicted that automation would slowly phase into the economy, one robot, one algorithm, one software update at a time. But what's happening now is something entirely different. Automation isn't creeping into the workforce anymore. It's exploding into it. And most people don't see it happening because the shift is silent, invisible, and disguised as innovation. Think about it. Every major company today is under pressure to cut costs, scale faster, and produce more with fewer resources. Human workers, with their need for salaries, breaks, healthcare, and limits, cannot compete with machines that work 24/7 without fatigue or overtime. So the moment companies find an automated alternative, even if it's only slightly cheaper, they switch. Instantly. Permanently. This is why industries are transforming at a speed that catches entire populations off guard. One year you have millions of people working in customer service. The next year, chatbots handle 80% of queries. One year factories hire thousands. The next, automated lines replace entire departments. One year companies post new job openings. The next, the same companies quietly announce AI-based restructuring. It's not just business pressure driving this acceleration. It's also competition. The moment one company automates, all their competitors must follow or die. This creates a chain reaction. One robot replaces 10 workers. One algorithm eliminates an entire team. One AI system accomplishes what an entire department once did. And the scariest part is this: automation doesn't slow down. It compounds. AI doesn't just replace workers. It keeps improving, learning, and reducing costs further every year. Which means the next wave of job losses won't take decades, it'll take months. This is why millions won't just lose their jobs. They won't even realize when their jobs became obsolete. When people hear the word automation, they imagine robots replacing factory workers or machines taking over simple physical tasks. But that era already happened. The next, far more disruptive wave of automation is going after the middle layer of the workforce, the stable, educated, well-paid jobs that once formed the backbone of every economy. And this shift is not accidental. It is logical, predictable, and already in motion. Unlike low-skill jobs that require physical movement, unpredictable environments, and human adaptability, middle-skill jobs involve repeatable mental tasks, structured decision-making, and standardized processes. These are the exact areas where AI excels. Think about loan officers, customer support agents, analysts, paralegals, coders, accountants, HR specialists, and financial advisors. roles built on interpreting data, managing workflows, or generating documents. Large-scale AI systems can now do these tasks faster, cheaper, and with near-zero error rates. Corporations see this as an irresistible opportunity. A middle-class employee costs money every month: salary, benefits, insurance, office space, training, while an AI system costs only electricity and maintenance. The math is simple. Replacing one human saves a little. Replacing 10,000 saves a fortune. And companies are legally obligated to maximize profit. The bottom tier of the workforce isn't as replaceable as many believe. Roles like cleaning, construction, caregiving, or food service require dexterity, movement, and social interaction, tasks robots still struggle with. Meanwhile, the top tier, executives, innovators, strategists, won't be replaced because they own the systems. So the middle layer becomes the perfect target, predictable enough to automate, expensive enough to justify replacing, and large enough to create billions in savings. This shift will hollow out the middle class, not because workers aren't skilled, but because AI is better or cheaper at the tasks they perform. The future collapse isn't about unemployment alone. It's about the disappearance of the very jobs that once defined stability. Governments around the world love to talk about protecting jobs, but the truth is simple and brutal. They cannot stop the automation wave, even if they desperately want to. Automation isn't just a technological trend, it's an economic survival strategy. For companies competing globally, using robots and AI isn't optional anymore. It's the only way to stay alive. And governments know that if they force companies to keep inefficient human roles, those companies will simply collapse or relocate. So the protection of jobs becomes nothing more than a political slogan repeated for votes. The unsettling truth is that automation saves companies billions, doesn't need healthcare, never goes on strike, never takes holidays, and produces more output with fewer mistakes. No politician can argue against those numbers. And whenever they try to slow things down through regulations, corporations respond by lobbying harder, shifting operations offshore, or adopting the technology quietly behind the scenes anyway. Another factor that makes automation unstoppable is demographics. Many countries, especially in Europe and East Asia, are aging rapidly. There simply aren't enough young workers to fill the roles that economies need. Governments secretly see automation not as a threat, but as a lifeline. Machines don't age, don't retire, and don't demand pensions. When populations shrink, robots become the default workforce. On top of this, global investors are pouring trillions of dollars into automation, AI, and robotics. When money chooses a direction, politicians rarely resist, they follow. The economic system itself has decided that human labor is inefficient, unpredictable, and expensive. So governments publicly preach job protection. But behind closed doors, they quietly support automation because it boosts GDP, reduces labor disputes, and keeps corporations competitive. The result? A future where automation accelerates. Not because society wants it, but because the system demands it, and no government is powerful enough to slow it down. The final and most overlooked consequence of mass automation isn't economic. It's psychological. When millions of people lose their jobs to machines, algorithms, and autonomous systems, the biggest damage happens inside the human mind. Work has always been more than income. It has been identity, structure, purpose, and, for many, the core definition of self-worth. When automation takes that away, society experiences a silent crisis no one is prepared for. Imagine millions of people waking up one day and realizing that the world no longer needs what they can do. Not because they are lazy, not because they lack talent, but because machines can do their jobs faster, cheaper, and without breaks. This creates a kind of existential unemployment. Not just the inability to find work, but the inability to feel useful at all. Countries with high automation adoption already show rising levels of depression, anxiety, substance dependency, and demographic despair, a collapse in birth rates, family formation, and community stability. A population that feels economically powerless begins to feel emotionally powerless too. And the worst part? This psychological fallout doesn't heal. A factory worker replaced by robots does not magically become a coder. A call center worker replaced by AI does not suddenly transform into a data scientist. When entire industries vanish, entire identities vanish with them. The result is a society where millions feel left behind, disconnected, invisible, while the tech-driven elite moves further ahead. The real danger of automation isn't just job loss. It's meaning loss.